Hello and welcome. This is Podcast the Musical.
Episode 2.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Josh.
Episode 2. That's Josh. I'm Kayla. And today we are reviewing Fringe. Fringe's musical episode entitled Brown Betty.
Yep.
I was going to have this queued up. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait, pretend I didn't say that. Today we are watching Fringe's musical episode Brown Betty.
Brown Betty. What?
That's my makeshift soundboard.
Oh, it's really good. I assume you held your phone up to the microphone?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. High quality.
But that's when I hear Brown Betty, that's what it makes me think of, is that song from The Color Purple.
All I hear is Fat Betty Blam Blam.
Oh, yeah?
That's what I get in my head.
We should put that in the show notes because that's one of the funniest YouTube videos of all time.
It is hilarious. Very, very funny.
Eating all of our ice cream, blam, blam,
blam. Blam, blam. And it's great because you can...
Nothing wrong with a thyroid,
blam,
blam,
blam.
blam.
I mean, it's great because you can turn it into anything because it's just 2 syllables and then blam, blam.
Blam, blam.
Blam, blam. It's awesome.
Whoa, Brown Betty. Okay, so we're reviewing Whoa, Brown Betty. Episode 20 of season 2 in Fringe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we should say what this is. This is a podcast where we talk about musicals of TV shows.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. So go away if you don't like it.
Yeah, it's true. Don't listen
please
to
stay.
it. Yeah, but you'll like it.
So my experience with Fringe, I've seen all of Fringe. I think it's okay. What's your experience, Josh?
Well, from what we've kind of mentioned and talked about a little bit, I kind of think that we may take exactly opposite viewpoints. Because I've seen about I think the first season. I've seen the first season of Fringe, and I liked it, but I did not like this episode. to jump quite a bit. So I think for me, it's more like I may like the show as a whole more than you, but I think I like this particular episode less than you.
Interesting. Yeah, because I was saying that I actually really like this episode. But Josh, so since you liked the first season, why didn't you continue watching?
If I remember correctly, that was when I have a lot of downtime as a teacher, and so that was when the school year just started ramping back up again, and so I watched the first season and then just got busy, and it isn't like a show like Community or Parks and Rec where you can just watch an episode, kind of pay attention to it, and then watch it again another time, kind of pay attention to it, and get little bits each time. You know,
I think that's why I ended up not really liking it that much, because it didn't really hold my attention toward the, after there's something big that happens that, changes the whole show. And there's I don't know, if you want to watch the show, I don't want to ruin it for you. But there's something big that happens that changes the whole show. And after that, the show didn't really go the direction that I was hoping it would go, the direction that was interesting to me. So I think I sort of started treating it like a kind of show that you have on in the background. So whenever I would watch it, I was doing stuff on my computer or whatever, because it just didn't hold my attention anymore.
Well, this big thing, is that the thing that happened at the end of season 1?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that was...
The big thing happens, I don't remember when. It's, middle of the show, though. Okay.
Well, I didn't make it that far. And for me, kind of, I wanted it to be more like the X-Files. And maybe it's just from my nostalgia for the X-Files that caused me to be I like the X-Files a lot, and this isn't as good as what I remember, watching that the first time. Because I watched the X-Files when it came out as a kid, and so I don't know. I have a lot of the nostalgia for that show, and everybody kept talking about, it's the modern X-Files, Fringe, blah blah blah, and then I started watching it, and I think it suffers, I think you're right. It suffers from J.J. Abrams syndrome, where it's
yes,
where it you start watching and you're like, oh, this is going to be good. It has so much potential. And then they take it in a weird direction and you're like, oh, well, thanks.
Like you
thanks
took
for
this
nothing.
in the least interesting direction.
Right. Why? Come on.
But we can get into that after we do the synopsis of this episode. Let's talk about this episode.
Okay.
So we start off the episode and Walter is,
being Walter.
doing what he does to self-medicate.
Yes. Which in this case is some hybrid of marijuana, right?
Yeah. Most of the time, well, I think a lot of the time he does a lot of marijuana. I don't do drugs, you guys, so I don't know. Do marijuana. He smokes a lot of marijuana. And that gave us this wacky musical episode. So he's kind of on a high, and Astrid comes in and she's like, oh, did you do drugs again? And he said yes. So are you aware kind of what happened previously that made him want to self-medicate this time?
Yes, there's a little recap at the beginning of Netflix. Yeah. And I could kind of guess where it was coming from just because I'd seen the season finale of season 1. So I can extrapolate the 20 episodes in between or whatever.
I'll just explain. So there's probably in season 1, there's a lot of talk about the other side. They reference it a lot. Yeah. Okay. So the other side, is basically another universe. And, what we find out before this episode is that Peter, who is Walter's son, is actually from the other side. So the Peter on this side, this Walter's son, actually died when he was a kid because Walter was too wrapped up in his lab work and stuff to save him. So what happens is Walter figures out there's another side and goes to the other side, steals that Peter and brings him back. And so when Peter finds out, he's pissed because he's like, you're not my dad. You stole me from my real dad and all this stuff. So Peter has sort of disappeared, and that's why Walter's upset. And that's why that frames the whole story of Walter's stealing a heart from Peter. And so, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Does that help you?
Yeah.
And so that's why Walter's upset. I get them mixed up because there's also a character on the show named Charlie, and for the longest time, I was always calling Peter Charlie because that's Joshua Jackson, and in my mind, he is always Charlie from the Mighty Ducks.
Yes, of course. Oh yeah.
I'm if you're gonna make him the main character of a show, don't make another main character the name of a main character he played that is really well known in his past.
Right.
I never could keep track of people's names because of that.
Like Dean in Supernatural?
Yes. Horrible idea.
Yep, terrible.
But they did.
There's nothing we can do about it now. Right. So let's just move on.
So he is very high, and then suddenly a little girl comes in.
He keeps calling Stella, but that's not her name, right?
The little girl?
Yeah. Isn't it Ella?
Ella. Yeah, he gets people's names wrong.
Yeah.
So that, his lab assistant / nurse / caretaker / also an FBI agent, her character really annoys me because it's great. And the actress's performance of it, her name is Jessica Nicole. She is great. But her character is so underdeveloped, it's really frustrating to me. But we can get into that later.
Yeah.
But anyway, her name is Astrid in the show, and he's always calling her asterisk, or what's a really funny one he came up with? Asterisk is funny. Alstramyriad, things like that. But that's a thing that he does, is gets people's names wrong.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, they're taking care of the little girl, and she wants a story. So that's our frame for getting the music and the noir story into the episode. What did you think of the noir?
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was poor noir. I am a huge noir fan. Huge. I love everything. Noir. I am a huge fan of Raymond Chandler, and I've read a lot of Raymond Chandler, a lot of modern noir that uses the old pulp serials as basis. my favorite episode of Adventure Time is called Bimo Noir, and it's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. We should just review that episode. It doesn't have any music in it.
Next podcast is going to be like a podcast noir. That's not creative.
No.
Something creative.
Podcast.
We'll review
Back
noir
in Black.
episodes, because I feel like that's a trope too. Lots of shows do noir episodes.
They do, and I didn't feel like this one did it well enough. I don't know. It felt really heavy on the whole like, well, what are you doing here, Gumshoe? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, come on. And then they all pull out their cell phones, and I understand that they were trying to do like a Chinatown thing and tried or like a Batman the Animated Series where you're pulling time periods out of time and using them with modern technology and that kind of thing. And I usually love that. Batman the Animated Series does probably the best job of that I've ever seen. It's amazing. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite cartoons. But I don't know, it just didn't feel like they pulled it off here. It felt more sci-fi than anything. Like when they go into the Modern Dynamics office, when they go into that lady's office, it felt like I was stepping outside of Noir and inside of like an old episode of Battlestar Galactica or something. I don't know. It just felt, it felt off.
Okay. Maybe that will contribute to the reason why we had different perceptions of it, because I don't have that much experience noir. The only experience I have with noir is Guy Noir Private Eye from the Garrison Keillor NPR show. Brian is texting me that Buffy did a musical. God,
I just saw that too.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Who even knows? Who even knows what he's talking about?
I don't even know what Buffy is.
What's a Buffy?
What is? It sounds like a cat.
What dumb name.
So yeah, maybe that's why I thought it was okay, and I actually thought the technology was okay. Like I was taken aback by it at first, but then once I started like looking more into what noir is, I was like, oh, this is kind of a thing that happens in noir where you pull from different time periods, and it's like steampunk almost. Yeah,
I guess. They do that a lot. It's true. They do a lot of stuff, and I think it's more of steampunk pulls a lot from noir, and this episode was more steampunk than noir. Is like they were all dressing like it was Prohibition era Chicago, but it felt more like Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah,
which is fine if you're going to go Sky Captain and do it fully, but it just didn't feel like they were all in for the genre.
Interesting. Well, I will say, so I found out that this came out of that they wanted to do like a Princess Bride type storytelling thing with Walter telling a story.
Okay.
And around this time, Fringe was featured on the cover of Entertainment Weekly, and it was Olivia on there in 1940s like gumshoe attire. And they loved that, and they were like, oh, why don't we do that? Why don't we make it noir when we do the Princess Bride storytelling episode? This just so happened to coincide with when Fox decided they were going to do this Fox Rocks campaign.
I remember that when for a week, all the different shows had to like have music in them. Oh man, I bet the writers loved that.
And so, the writers of this episode anyway were like sort of cool with it, or at least that's what they say. They say like, well, we were able to like slip the music in, and it was already a fantastical episode anyway. So in like Walter's imagination, so it worked with the music, they thought. So I sometimes I feel like it was trying to mash too many things together: the noir plus the storytelling plus the there's like fairy tale elements too, because the little girl wants to make it a happy ending, and then there's also music and singing. So,
but the music and singing wasn't. I don't know. Like it left a lot to be desired for me. Okay. The music did.
Well, it's like we'll get to those.
We'll get to that, but that was the thing I was disappointed in the most.
Yeah, it was.
And maybe it's just since last episode we did Psych, which is
full blown.
Practically all singing and dancing. Like they jumped into the whole musical genre hard. And maybe this is just a little, they were just trying to slip a little bit in this episode, and that's different. So,
from my understanding of the Fox Rocks thing, that's what most of them did. They were just supposed to make music an element of the show somehow. So, like other like Bones did it apparently.
Yes, I remember that episode. That's the one where I think where Celie is like in a coma or something and dreams about him and Bones being married and owning a nightclub.
Do they sing? We should review it if they do.
I don't remember. I will find out. I think that may be the extent of the music, is that they own a nightclub and like a band performs there or something. But I'll look it up.
Okay, so we start to get into he's telling the story. We get our first song, which is Walter singing Head Over Heels.
Although, sorry, before that, this with the song that's playing when he's labeling stuff.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember when he starts that song? I loved that song.
Well, I didn't write down what the songs were if the characters weren't singing them. So let me look it up.
Okay. I loved it. I thought it was great. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We can move on from that.
Well, and it's just like it was the way he was singing was very much how the rest of the episode went with the song. Just sort of the characters singing live on set. He was singing along with a recording of the actual song, and just short and sweet, which was fine. I mean, I don't know, that happened, and you can't really judge my son on his voice, so it'll be interesting when we get to who can make it, but yeah, so that's the first short little song. Then they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about Peter, who has stolen, or Rachel says, my true love is gone. He's missing. You need to find him. And then she goes to see Broyles. Olivia goes to see Broyles in a piano lounge. What did you think of his singing?
He was great. I was like, yes, finally. And then he quit after about 6 seconds. I was like, come on. Why?
Sing an entire song.
And he was good. Like, he was actually playing the piano, too. And I was like, do a full thing or something. I don't know. Maybe it was just too short. Like, maybe the episode was too short. They had to cram a bunch in there. But I wanted more of that.
Beautiful. I mean, I feel like he could make a career.
He could be an amazing jazz singer. Like,
yeah. Lance Reddick is his name.
He might have already. Ugh, I wanted more of it.
He plays the Haitian in Lost.
Yes. So he's a J.J. Abrams favorite.
So J.J. Abrams is one of those who likes to recycle actors. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, when you find somebody that does good work.
Yeah, I love him in Fringe. He's like my favorite character in Fringe.
Good. I'm glad he gets more stuff to do, because he was also he wasn't in Lost. He was in Heroes.
No, he was in Lost. He played the Haitian. I swear.
The Haitian is from Heroes. Yes, it is. The Haitian is the guy from Heroes who can stop other people from using their powers. I guarantee it. 100,000%. Laura just rewatched Heroes like 6 months ago.
No, I can't believe you're right. Ha!
Although, just to be fair, J.J. Abrams did do the second half of the third season of Heroes.
Oh. I thought he was in... Is he not in Lost?
Maybe. I don't know.
So the Haitian in Heroes is not actually Lance Reddick.
It's not?
No.
No, you're right. It's Jimmy Jean Lewis.
This Lance Reddick is Matthew Abaddon.
Okay, well, we need to do more research.
I totally thought, whatever. Anyway, okay, well, he's great in this show. And he's freaking great in this part. And I agree, I wanted more. His performance was very Dule Hill dancing in the previous episode that we did. Because it was like clearly very talented. Clearly, the entire show should just be him performing. But instead, we get just like a tiny little taste. But it was great.
Yeah, it was good.
So are you aware of the symbols, the meaning of the symbols that happened between the scenes?
Oh, you mean
Did you
like
notice that?
the X-rayed apple and stuff like that? No. I have no idea what those mean.
Okay. Those are glyphs, and they spell out something. So there's like an alphabet that goes along with each symbol. There's a letter for each symbol, and they spell out something every episode.
Oh, interesting.
It was very much in a time like post-Lost, when they were trying to make this show a mystery that people could, like a puzzle, that people could follow along with. And there were all these Easter eggs.
Okay.
So that was one of the things.
Interesting. Well, didn't know that. And sorry, just to go back, that is the episode that Bones did, the one where they had a thing, and Sweets sings in it, and he's really, really good. I love John Francis Daly. Ever since Freaks and Geeks, I love that guy.
I only really know him from Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah,
he was great in it, though. What do you think of a Freaks and Geeks musical episode? The band sings.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun to do. I'm down.
Okay, so then she goes. See, somehow she gets a tip that it was Walter, and so she goes to his lab, right?
How does she go there?
Oh wait, okay, before that, was there like some sexual tension between Broyles and Olivia?
Yeah, I have that note later when she comes back or something. Where is it? Where he's like,
I have it as she was leaving. He was like, or no, they went to, that's what it was. They went to Rachel's house and she was dead there. And then Broyles shows up.
And she's like, you want to spend some time down in the cell? She's like, 3 hot meals in a bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they're
what?
Like practically licking each other.
I know. They're so close. And then he's like, you leave the police work to the big boys. And and then she's like, okay, you win. And then walks away. And I was like, is this some... It was an interesting little moment because it kind of made me think that there's a history there. That, I mean, there is a history. She says that she witnessed him planting evidence and didn't tell anyone or whatever. And I was like, tell me more of that story. Like, let's go back and forget all this plastic heart nonsense and let's do the noir part of it. Like, forget the sci-fi. Just give me more noir.
Yeah, but the show has to stay true to itself.
I know.
Yeah, I totally caught that too and thought it was strange because it doesn't really happen again, at least not like that. And so, you could maybe play it off as like, well, maybe they have like a tension because this is the noir episode and it's kind of a one-offer.
Yeah, and it all takes place within Walter's mind.
Yeah, but then she has like a thing with Joshua Jackson's character.
Yeah, that
Peter.
happens fast.
So, I don't know. But anyway, okay.
I kind of felt like this episode was also trying to be a little Mad Men-y as well.
You think with like misogynism or something?
Yeah, not overtly, and not like not they're not putting it up as a like centerpiece. It's almost just like they were saying, well, this period of time was misogynistic. We should probably add some of that.
We should probably have lots of drinking out of glass tumblers.
And let's put a match in Joshua Jackson's mouth for no reason.
I thought that was funny too. That it was a match and not a toothpick.
Right. I'm like, how hard is it to just use a toothpick? You've not once smoked anything. And I was like, maybe it's an allusion to something else from the show. I feel like a lot of stuff was either lost. Like, I can't differentiate between the stuff that was lost on me and the stuff that was just dumb. Like,
well, and that's a very J.J. Abrams show type of thing, right? Like, there's also red herrings along with Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Like, one of the Easter eggs in every episode, they show something that's going to reference the next episode. So, like, in this episode, they play Operation at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that I looked it up because I had no idea. That's apparently a reference to, in the next episode, there's some like really creepy medical procedures that are part of like a murder or something.
Oh, I thought it was just a Chekhov's gun for later when he's like, "Well, you ever played Operation? Just reach in there and jiggle stuff around, but don't touch the sides."
It is like that, yeah. But apparently, it's also
for the
next episode. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the last episode had a shot of a carton of eggs with the slogan "Good for your heart" on it.
Interesting.
So this episode was all about hearts. In fact, I'll spoil it. The glyphs spell out heart in this episode.
Oh, that's cute. We kind of went over this really fast. I have a note here. The way Walter eats chips is brilliant.
I don't remember that, but I bet you're right, because the way he has an appetite is hilarious.
Well, and everything he does is very small and very precise. And it really emphasizes his neuroses, his eccentricity. He takes these tiny little bites of chip, like he breaks off a normal sized chip into almost like the size of a dime, and then he just nibbles on the chip as he's talking. And
like a little gopher.
Like a little gopher, and it's a way that he can stay down focused. Like he doesn't look people in the eye as he does it, and he's looking down and he's taking small bites, and everything he's saying is clipped and precise, and he's turning the chip as he does it, and it's brilliant. I don't know who came up with it, but that character that character trait is really, really smart. And Walter is the guy who plays Walter is definitely my favorite. He's a fantastic actor. I thought he did.
John Noble.
Yes, I thought he did really, really well in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this episode was like a window into how Walter views himself, which was great, because you don't always see that. He's always beating himself up, but you don't see like the extent to which he's guilty for what he's done,
Right.
My favorite Walter moment of the show is there's one episode where he gets lost. And he can't remember where he is or how to get back or even where he lives and stuff because, he's like you're right, he's got neuroses and he's kind of like an Alzheimer's patient or he's got like dementia,
Mm-hmm.
But I like that episode because it's very much, there are a lot of Buffy-like elements of this show, and that's one of the ones. Like, it's a show that's centered around something supernatural, but it's the very human things that happen that are the most crushing for the characters,
Okay.
So I liked that episode because it was like, no, it's not some crazy, weird, supernatural thing that's really getting at him right now. It's the fact that he has dementia, basically.
Okay.
This very human problem.
I like it.
But anyway, yeah, so we kind of get to explore that in this episode, his guilt, self-guilt. But my favorite part of this scene, when we go back to the lab, is the shot with Olivia is on the right and Walter's on the left, and in between them there's just enough space to see the entire cow, and it's like a freaking twister board.
Oh, yeah.
Polka dots all over it. Different colored polka dots all over it.
That was really funny. I was like, what kind of experiments has he done to that thing? Also, I wrote down that his lab looks like the set from Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, they went really overboard with trying to make it look like a
toy shop. Yeah, it looked like the set of Bill Nye the Science Guy, or like a toy shop from the movie Toys, the Robin Williams movie.
What did you think of the singing corpses?
Weird. I don't know. And I kind of felt, I don't know. Maybe I was looking for more seriousness in this show than I should have. But Noir isn't funny. And so maybe I'm just giving it too much of that. But as soon as they popped up, I'm like, what? I don't understand. But I wrote down the singing corpses are weird, and I still don't know if I love it or hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
I don't know. I think I'm still just trying to attach more seriousness to this than there should be. And how do they know to start singing? Their cue is like Walter says, singing corpses, and then they all sit up and start singing
fantasy.
can't. I know it's a
I
fantasy.
chalk a lot of that up to it just being a story he's telling, and therefore everything will be puppeted by him.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I still don't like it.
This is our second episode musical episode we watched where we have people singing around corpses or something with corpses and singing.
That's true. Yep.
I'm wondering if there's going to be another one.
Oh,
we'll have to keep track.
I'm sure. There's that one singing episode about the vampires, the vampire show. I think it's called Twilight.
Mm. Oh yeah, I know that one.
Okay, yeah, I think there's some corpses in that one.
Singing corpses in that one? Okay,
probably.
all right, we'll have to look for that clip.
Cool.
Okay, so so here actually, you're right. It's like he gets very serious after the singing corpses when he's like talking about, this is why I hired you to find Peter.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's sort of bizarre because it's around all of this like crazy kookiness.
Mm-hmm.
That he's like having this very poignant moment, talking about, why he loves his son. And that's, I think, an interesting part of this show is like, there's of course the love relationship between Olivia and Peter, but the real crux of the show is the love relationship between father and son that has to keep getting repaired.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that takes precedence.
That's good. And like I said, I think a lot of like the quote unquote the feels of this episode are lost on me just because I have no basis for them.
Okay. Well, this is like near the end of the second season. So there's a lot of development between. But that Olivia and Peter are going to be like sexual tension throughout.
Oh, sure.
They? Will they? Won't they?
Yeah. They set that up pretty quickly. But I don't know.
Let me tell you, it takes a while.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen the show, and I was just kind of only half invested, I suppose, the first time. So, it's on my list of things to watch. I'm going to watch it at some point. It's one of those shows that's like, if you like sci-fi, you probably should watch it. And it's one of those that big long list of TV dramas that I've yet to see, like Fringe and The Wire and The Shield, and I still haven't finished Breaking Bad. Just this big long list of things that I need to watch, and it's definitely on there.
You put it behind some of those other
Oh
things.
Yeah, I'm sure, definitely.
It is what it is, and like I said, I didn't like the direction it went, and so I sort of felt like it wasted my time toward the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no offense to fans of the show.
But how dumb are you? Jeez. Fans. Who is even a fan of anything?
Well, fans of the show, like, were really into it, not as much as Lost, but, like, really into the... I think these are the same fans who were so disappointed in Lost and like thought 7 years of their life were wasted because they like spent all this time obsessing over the fact that this guy is actually this guy in disguise. Yeah. Maybe all fan theories and stuff.
Yeah.
But okay, so Olivia says, "I'll find Peter for you," and he's like, "Thanks." And so then she needs Astrid back.
Right.
This is when we get to Astrid in the Noir part of the story, and she's at some temp agency.
Right, and she sings song from, what is it? Don't Tell Me, A Chorus Line, right?
Good job.
Yeah.
And she sings great.
She's very, very good. I want more of it. That's the whole I just want more. But
yeah, we got like so little of her and of Broyles singing, who are the really great ones. But then we get Olivia singing like an entire freaking song with no accompaniment.
Yeah.
Very bare bones.
Really well.
We'll get to that later. But yeah, Astrid knocks it out of the park, if you ask me.
I agree.
She has a music theater background.
Oh, well, who would have guessed?
Yeah. And in fact, she asked to sing a song. She originally didn't have a song in the show, and she called the writer and was like, I really want to sing.
That's great. Well, good for her, because
goes to show like
it was
how
great.
much her character should be developed more, because it's such a great character, and they just she's that character. She's the quintessential computer whiz character, which is like sort of a little Willow at the beginning of that show, Twilight. You know, very much like an accessory that is necessary to move the plot along because you need someone who happens to be a computer whiz so you can do this plot thing.
You need someone who has skills that most people don't have or understand so you can make stuff up and pass it off as magic. Basically, it's a very common thing, especially now for technology things. So it's like, well, I'll just hack the mainframe, and then
exactly.
I'll get you the codes to the blogosphere.
What's the Mac in
Veronica Mars? Veronica Mars. Yep.
Yeah, another one of those. Those are all girls. Interesting. Yep. But yeah, Astrid is that in this show. She's the tech geek. She also takes care of Walter, but she also is an FBI agent when she needs to be, and like also is a lab assistant and like does lab assistant things. Shows do this a lot. The overly specialized. Yeah. Or not overly specialized, but a person with too many specializations, like to make sense. Yeah, and
to keep your cast numbers down.
Yeah, that's probably why. But it does a disservice to her character, I think.
Really?
She gets some shining moments, but not enough. So she sings, and it's great, and then she gets called to come back to Olivia. So that, after I found out that she had asked to have a song, it made a lot more sense. But before, I was like, why even have this scene with her if it's just she gets called, and it's like, I fired you, but now you're rehired. It was just like, well, why didn't you just have her be the assistant up front? You just really wanted her to sing that clip from a chorus line.
Oh, yes. Remember that thought when we get somewhere later, because I have a similar thing where I think it's kind of lazy writing. Also, I wanted to say we skipped over a couple of things that I have notes for, and I suppose, you know what? We'll just wait till the end, and I'll just rattle them all off in a big long note stream.
Note stream. So, then Olivia gets attacked, right?
Yeah. Yep.
By
a laser knife.
By the Observer, who for the longest time I was calling a Watcher.
Is that not what he's called? The Watcher?
I think they refer to him as a Watcher before they actually give him the real name of him, an Observer. Maybe that's why.
Man, people steal everything from Twilight.
Yeah, I know.
Sheesh.
It's like a modern day Shakespeare Twilight.
It is. Chaucer at his best.
Anyway, I can't tell if people are going to hate us or
they're probably going to burn us at the stake. Burn us at the stake.
I can't wait. I really
can't
like mahogany
find me
as my stake fire.
Most of the listeners will be 6,000 miles away. I'm safe as houses, which is a dumb expression, but moving on. One note. Why do so many of these people in this world need fake hearts?
Yeah, they never give an explanation for that. I think it was
when Olivia comes to Rachel's house, this was early enough in the episode that Rachel had a big thing cut out of her chest, right? And it was a big square hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's what she's fake. She had a robot heart too, and that's why they stole it from her, and nothing ever happens with that.
Yeah.
It's just killed her. I'm like, why don't you just shoot her in the head? It's less messy.
Because all he had was this sonic screwdriver.
Well, then just cut a small slice in the back of her neck. Just boom, spinal cord, done. Why cut a big hole in her chest?
Because the episode is about hearts, and they really wanted to drive that home.
I guess. Man.
Have you not noticed?
Seriously, fully 1 out of every 3 characters had a fake heart.
Yeah, okay. Well, there aren't very many characters in this show. I guess.
That's true.
You're right. That was weird, now that I think about it. So Olivia then gets cut straight across. Oh, also, she goes back to Astrid and then she just heals right up. But poor Rachel didn't heal up.
Right. And maybe that was because they didn't push the skin back together, or maybe he just was like, I'll just take your real heart.
Maybe that's why they had to. No. This is
much.
Why he had to take the heart, because if he didn't take the heart, he has to take something vital out of her, or else she would just heal up.
Oh, okay. I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, going back to Rachel's song, or not Rachel, Astrid's song, just real quick. It's the first song that doesn't have a story-driven reason for it.
It does. She's trying to get a new job.
Well, I know, but why would you sing at an interview?
Oh, a story-driven reason for singing.
For singing, yes.
Oh.
It's
true.
one of the only. I think it's the only one that does that.
So I don't like that. I didn't like that about the Mentalist. What was that?
The Mentalist? Psych?
Psych!
I'm going to go do
Mentalist.
grown-up things, Troy. Have fun watching, eating fiber and watching The Mentalist. I'm going to make as many Community references as I can. Is that all right?
I suppose.
Just until we get to that episode.
Oh, and then you'll stop? I'm sure.
Maybe. I don't know. I watched this episode of Fringe twice, and the first time I was really bored. I was just so bored of it. And then I was like, ugh, I need to watch something. And so then I watched that episode of Community to kind of cleanse my palate. And then I watched the second Fringe. Watched Fringe the second time.
So by the time we get to the next episode that we do, Josh is already going to have it memorized, and he'll just perform it for you.
I'm just going to perform it all from memory.
Yeah. I'll just clap in the background.
I love that episode so much.
Okay. What was I going to... You interrupted me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have something, and it will bring us right back on track.
Okay.
So, right after the guy cuts her, he says, "Don't stick your heart out where it doesn't belong." What does that even mean?
They just wanted to do more things about hearts being vulnerable and stealing from each other.
Don't stick your heart out. I get the symbolism of like don't overextend yourself. Like don't but the metaphor is wrong. It's like the metaphor is don't open yourself up to more hurt than you need to be. Don't become vulnerable or whatever. Not your heart isn't the thing that does snooping. Like oh man, my heart really smells something weird going on here. Like it didn't make any sense. It was dumb.
But this is Fringe. Maybe hearts do smell, right? Like you can find out something.
I guess. And again, that's lost on me because I haven't really seen a ton of Fringe. But,
no, I'm totally making that. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous even for Fringe. No, but I was gonna say I really hate that Psych and this episode are mixing the presentation of the music, right? I want you to stick with the method throughout the whole episode.
Right, yes.
So if the songs are going to be integrated, make them integrated. You know, make them part of the plot.
Like the episode of Community, when they sing the songs, they're singing them for a reason.
Yeah.
Like they're singing to either present to the other members of the study group to join them, or they're singing at a performance. Like there's an absolute reason for each of those songs.
And everyone's aware that they're singing.
Happening.
They're not doing like a play it off thing. Like they're talking, and the character that they're singing to thinks they're just talking to them. You know.
Exactly. Yes.
So yeah, I'm waiting for an episode that does that well. Maybe it will be
Me too.
Next.
I'm fine with it if that's what you're gonna do, but do one or the other. Don't be like, I'm singing for no reason, and then the next scene it's a guy tinkling on the piano and singing a little jazzy number for just a couple of seconds and then stopping like you would do. I mean, like if you were just messing around on a piano singing a little song, when somebody came up to you would stop. I mean, like that's a normal thing. So
yeah,
it felt disjointed and out of place. A lot of the things did. So
well, and again, that might, at least with the Astrid thing, that might be because they were like, yeah, we'll give you a song where you can show off your voice, and here's a good one. Okay, stick it in.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
also, Olivia is apparently an amazing sketch artist.
That's what I wrote down too.
She just whipped that
perfect
thing
drawing
right
of a weapon she saw in the dark.
Yeah, that was down by her chest, like below her chin.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's she's not actually a very good detective because everyone keeps, deceiving her.
Leading her around by the nose. I have a note about that later.
Well, maybe she should be a cartoonist instead.
She should just be a cartoonist or in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because that's how the detective was in that movie.
Okay, yeah.
When she goes to that patent office, that guy at the counter is creepy, number one, almost for no reason. It's weird. Like, that was one of the reasons, that was one of the pieces of evidence that I logged away for the whole misogyny thing. It's like, oh, this guy's just being lechy because it's the 40s or the 50s or whatever, and he's allowed to do that. But he plays the blind kid in the Psych episode called Dual Spires, which is my favorite episode of Psych. It is brilliant. Dual Spires is a parody episode of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I've heard this is really good.
It is brilliant. If you're not super into Twin Peaks, which I am into Twin Peaks, I love it. But all you need to do is watch the first episode of Twin Peaks and then watch the Psych episode, and you have enough context to get most of the jokes. But it's done really, really well. And every single time I watch that episode, I pick up little bits and pieces. But anyway, that's the guy from that episode, and it was a great episode.
I was wondering. I was going to look that up. I'm glad you did, because they sort of seem to feature him. So I thought, is this guy some famous singer or something? Is he gonna sing? Because he didn't.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, fun sidebar fact: Twin Peaks is the name of a Hooters style stripper restaurant in Wichita.
It is. It's weird. Is it not a chain? I thought it was a chain. I'm looking it up.
I thought Wichita was unique. Silly me.
Whatever. Not when it comes to food. Twin Peaks. Also, stupid name. You could have. I mean.
It's a double entendre, right?
Well, of course. Okay. What I'm saying is, you could have picked a better one.
Well, come on. They all have to, like, Hooters. Like,
I guess
they don't have to be creative. They need to be because the type of demographic that visits those types of places needs to be able to pick up on it, even though they're a little daft, probably.
Guess. I'm gonna make a restaurant and call it
Boobs.
Bazoombas.
Bazoombas. We serve Bazoomba burgers.
Yes. Zoom burgers. It is a chain of restaurants.
Oh, okay.
Founded in 2005 in Texas.
So if you have a Twin Peaks in your neighborhood and you think it's seedy and stupid, tweet us.
Yeah, tweet us.
If you don't think it's seedy and stupid and you think it's great, then I don't know. That's fine too, I guess.
You can tweet us too. It's fine. You probably won't get a very nice response. Yeah. So Twin Peaks is basically just flannel Hooters, I guess. I don't know. I've never eaten there.
Okay. Maybe they have good wings. Anyway.
I was about to say they probably have the Twin Peaks analogous food, like nachos or something.
Well, if it's like the lumberjack Hooters, then I feel like what's like a
pancakes. They have amazing pancakes.
Amazing pancakes. They have to have an amazing something, quote unquote amazing something, so that dudes who go there can be like, no, I just like going there because they have amazing pancakes.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, their wife is like, why don't we just go to IHOP?
Yeah. I was going to say that's a lot of the people's excuses for like strip clubs. It's like, I just go to strip clubs for the buffet at lunch. for the $2 buffet at lunch. I'm like,
yep.
Yeah,
okay.
Why don't you just go somewhere else? How about
the grocery store?
I mean, like, yeah, like I don't really want that food that has been that close to that many bare body parts. Like, I mean, like when you go into like what are those like a Boston market, those spit shields that come over the thing that like almost touch, like you have to stick your hand under, like in between the spit shield and the counter, and you can barely grab stuff. I want it like, do they have the food inside like incubators where you stick your hand in the gloves so you can like touch the baby, but you stick your hand in the gloves and grab the food and it spits it out in a little tray? Okay,
so I think what we're coming up with right now is a restaurant idea.
Uh-huh.
With singing corpses, and you eat your food in one of those baby glove thingies.
In an iron lung.
In an iron lung. It's a hospital-themed restaurant. Okay.
What were we talking about? Like, what? Why are we talking? What's the whole point of this thing?
Something about music, probably.
Okay, so when she leaves What's-Her-Face's office for the second time, like, she goes back and is like, hey, lady, you lied to me. Man. And, like, hold on, just...
Wow.
Excuse me. Yep.
That was powerful.
It's been a powerful cold.
It's a cold. It's not allergies.
Allergies aren't real.
No. Well, my car is covered in yellow powder. It is not.
Oh, yours?
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, from pollen. Our streets are covered with yellow powder, but it's dirt from Mongolia.
Well, that is more exotic.
But worse.
You
like
win.
No, it's terrible. I would much rather have pollen. Like the dirt from Mongolia blows down across industrial parts of China, and so it picks up all kinds of pollutants and then blows right into Korea. Thanks, China.
And that was our segment. Thanks, China. Thanks, China.
Yep. Da-na-na-na.
That's how we should. Whenever we stray, that's how we should get back.
Thanks, China.
Thanks, China.
Da-na-na-na.
Okay.
I have a note here. Like when she leaves that lady's office for the second time, she breaks her taillight, but there's no pieces of taillight on the ground. Continuity error. Gotcha.
Oh, I'm sure they feel real bad.
Yep. Also, the reason she breaks the taillight is so she can more easily follow the car. But she tailgates.
Yeah, she's like 10 feet
the
behind.
entire time. It's like, why would you break the taillight if you're just gonna follow from like 10 feet?
And Nina doesn't even notice.
Doesn't even notice. Oh no, my taillight somehow got broken in this private and
this private
probably
parking lot of this entire huge corporation that I own,
of which I am the CEO. Yeah.
So she follows her back to her house, and she is talking to
Spock,
William Bell. Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Live long and prosper.
Yes.
And
LLAP.
it's a cartoon of him because he didn't want to work that episode. What?
Oh, is that actually true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't want to work that episode, and so they had some animators like take some pictures of his face. Like he didn't even want to like get taped for it. He did a little bit of the voice work, but yeah, they were like, "Oh well, she's talking to you from the other side. We can make a cartoon out of you."
I didn't like that. I wish they would have just gone audio only, like because we know who he is, and he's got a very distinct voice. And if you've seen the show, you know who he is. I wish they would have just gone.
Yeah, but they gotta put in the other side element of it. So like
okay,
the monitor thing is the monitor to the other side. So
okay, and that's fine. It was just it looked like a video game from like 1998. It was not very good.
Well, it doesn't sound like they spent a whole lot of time on it.
Yeah, probably. Hey, Johnny, my 18-year-old son can animate that for you. He just got Blender.
Great! I don't know what Blender is, which must mean that it's good at things.
No, I don't know. It's dang it! I'm going with the bit.
I was going with the bit.
Take two. Johnny, hey, you wanna nope, I even went with a different perspective. I changed the bit itself.
Thanks, China.
Thanks, China. Yeah. I wish what they would have done was actually like animated it, not like CGI weird cell shading nonsense, but like almost like just a straight up flat animation. It would have been
instead of sort of 3D-ish, like attempting to make it 3D.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, I don't know what the viewing monitor thing is supposed to look like from previous episodes, so I don't know if there's any throwback to that in this one.
Yeah, I don't remember. I feel like it gets clearer. Like I feel like you can actually, it's like a video screen at some point.
They developed the technology a little bit more.
Maybe they did it for the Noir episode because it was in black and white.
That's true. It did look very Sky Captain in that respect. Like they had like some airships in the background.
Yeah. So what did you think of the colorization of the Noir part of the story?
It was all right.
I liked it because I thought it was a good subtle. They weren't driving the Noir part too hard.
That's true.
So I liked that it wasn't like
completely
sepia.
What it was. Right. For what it was, I thought it was good.
But that's something that I thought about. So then she gets caught by the Watcher and thrown in a crate.
Right. I have a note. right here. Drowning her alive is cruel. Why don't if your end goal is killing her, just kill her.
That's what
and
I
then
thought.
throw her in
Why
the
don't
water.
you just bash her head in with the hammer you're using to close the box that she's in?
Number one. Number two, why did you not take her phone when you tied her up? Is this amateur hour? Like, have you never kidnapped anyone before?
Oh.
Like, they tie her, they take the time to knock her out and tie her up, hands and feet, and don't take her phone.
Well, they're in a noir, and so they never know who's going to actually have technology, because this is actually the 40s, but sort of steampunk 40s, and so they don't expect her to have a cell phone.
I think it was just bad continuity.
Probably.
Like, if you're not going to let her use the phone, why even try to get it out? Like, let me believe that they've taken it and not given her that option, because then she pulls out the phone and she checks and it's like no signal. So if you're not going to let her use the phone in the first place, why let her have it at all?
I thought it was funny that she had a cell phone and like a car radio phone. Like, do you really need both of those things? If you have a cell phone,
well, I think that
you maybe don't need
car
the
radio
button on your
phone,
car that it works as a phone.
Well, I think that car radio phone is like what we have now, where it's just a Bluetooth speaker and microphone, so you can keep your phone in your pocket.
Okay, I don't, because I don't think Wi-Fi is very steampunk.
I agree with you.
Okay, so she gets thrown in the ocean and not even weighted down or anything. Like, she's not going to drown. She's just going to float, I guess, till she starves.
She's going to float around in a wooden crate. And then Peter Bishop breaks her out, and he's like, I heard you were looking for me. From whom? Who told you?
Well, she asks.
Who told you?
She asks.
But
he's been tailing her.
What did she ask? Why?
I can't remember. I think it might be because he's been watching Walter, and Walter hired her.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they go to his house, and
that house looks really familiar.
Oh, really? I mean, I think it's either his or her house in the normal storyline.
Like, I think it's like on a back lot of Paramount or something.
Oh, really?
And they just use it for a ton of stuff. Uh-huh. Like, I think I've seen that house on Leverage and Psych, or I don't know. Maybe it's probably a location house in Toronto, because that's where they film a bunch of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. In fact, because they film in Toronto, the cow that is in the lab, who is actually sort of a character, had to be replaced by another cow because they couldn't get the first cow cross customs.
That's funny. That's very funny. We don't cotton to your American cow up here in Canada.
Yeah, with a Texas accent.
No, it's a Newfie accent.
Oh yeah, American cow. That's a
American cow. Snoofy. You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know as a linguist.
Nope. And I wouldn't know either. I don't know any Newfies. Because Newfies stay in Newfoundland. Yeah,
I'm sure they're also going to appreciate that. Oh, or maybe they're not from Newfoundland. Maybe they're from Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe they're Nova Scotian.
We just really don't like Canada, apparently, on this podcast.
Like an ocean in the ocean. Things that could rhyme with Nova Scotian. So they get attacked. Mm-hmm. And his heart gets ripped out.
His heart. Can I make mention? What is that weird blue egg thing? What did it do, and why was it there?
It was only there for her to recognize
nothing.
No,
nothing.
For her to
nothing.
Listen, for her to recognize it as one of Walter's gadgets, so that she knew it was him who had the Watchers, or told Nina or whatever.
So in other words, a big old MacGuffin. It could have been the cow. It might as well have been the cow.
That the cow would have come busting through the wall. The polka-dotted candy cane cow.
Twister cow.
He should have come in a twister with the twister stripes on him, or spots on him.
Yep. And then she's like, cow. And he's like, another cow. And then she's like, oh, I think that was the same one. Get it?
Get it. Save your references for our references quiz.
Gosh dang it. But aren't you giving your quiz?
Okay.
Okay.
You didn't prepare anything? You're the quiz master.
Who was the guy? How is Babby formed? When they go back to Walter.
Well, wait a second. We got to talk about her song.
Sorry, go ahead.
She sings to him.
Oh, that's right. Her song. Her song. It was good. It was pretty, but man, is that a trope.
I didn't like it. I did not like her singing at all.
You didn't?
No.
I did.
And it was way
I
too
thought it
long.
was nice. I agree. It was too long in a show when all your other really good singers only sing for about 7 seconds. Do a whole little verse and chorus for her. Not a fan.
Yeah.
But I did like her voice. I thought it was heartfelt.
She had an affectation that she put on that I did not like. It was like an I'm singing now
really?
affectation. Not very clear. Wasn't into it. But she did well, and she was whisper singing a lot of the time, so it was.
That's
okay.
true, because she was trying to be quiet. Yeah.
Put some batteries in him. Takes him to the lab.
But why? Why did it take so long for him to wake up?
I don't know. So that
like,
she could sing a song.
The battery. It's not like he has to charge an internal battery in him. Like the battery's plugged in, Tony Stark style, and then he should just be fine. And then as soon as he wakes up, he's like, "Oh man, that was all right. Let's go!" And like he's just boom, ready to go.
And
0 to 100%.
Did you want to say something about the out of nowhereness of the love that happened between them?
Yeah, for real. It's like, well, I'm just looking for a guy who loves music and will take me dancing. And I'm like, it's like, and maybe we'll cook a few meals for me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I'm like, what? It's dumb. It's so fast. And I guess
so. Leading up to this, there has been more tension between them. So that's why it made sense. But you're right. Like as a one-off episode, there's no buildup of their romance. In fact, he was supposedly the love of Rachel, who died.
Right. But that, like, they make a whole point of bringing that up as a possibility of a deep and true love at first sight type thing.
Yeah, but she's singing "For Once in My Life, I Have Someone Who Needs Me," and it's like this very "For Once in My Life, Someone's Committed to Me" type of song, and he literally made her eggs. That's it.
Yep. Well, I mean, he saved her life. He pulled her out of the water.
That's true. But that's not like commitment.
No, but it is very fairy tale-y.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I will say best line of the whole episode was when after they're done fighting and she finds him and his heart's been ripped out, he says, "I knew you were a good dancer."
That was good. Yeah, ain't so bad yourself, chum.
See? Did you like her fight scene?
I thought it was great. I thought that the gun was really dumb. Like, he shoots at the wall and makes this incredibly large entrance wound on a wall.
Well, they have crazy technology, though.
Isn't how bullets work. I know, but isn't how bullets work. And how they're designed to not work like that. And then she shoots a guy and it's like he gets hit with a paintball gun and he's just going, oh no, I fall down now.
It was kind of chaotic.
But other than that, it was good. It was a little chaotic, but it was good.
I think she executes it well.
It was very, very. She's very physical, and it's good, and she's obviously had a lot of training in that. I want to talk about when he's making her eggs, he does this thing the script does this thing that I don't like, where it's kind of noir, and in that they they got it kind of right, but it does this thing where someone will ask a question and then the other person will immediately not answer that question, very specifically and very blatantly not answer the question. Like, she's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "You want some eggs?" He walks away. It's like, "So how'd you know I was going to be in the water?" "Coffee." Like, it's just, it's not mysterious, it's just dumb.
Yeah,
so,
that did strike me too. It's kind of weird. But he does explain later. And
when he's explaining the board, he also mentions that Walter invented elephants.
Oh,
what?
I think Walter wants to make himself sound cool to the little girl he's telling a story to.
I guess. Dumb. Invented elephants.
It's cute. Let it be cute.
It's so cute. Elephants and rainbows.
Hugs and rainbows. We go back to Walter, and everyone's pissed.
Yeah.
And then it ends with them being pissed, but he sings this very mournful reprise of Candyman.
That's so creepy. It's scary.
Oh, I thought it was so sweet.
Oh, well, maybe it's just because I've seen the horror film Candyman.
Oh.
That I just kind of associate that song Plus, the original song is a little creepy, like the original one. It's a little creepy. Right. And then in that movie, and then in this context with corpses sitting over there, and oh no, I'm the Candyman. I just make wonderful things by killing dreams. And like I don't know. I flipped my next page, and my very first note on my next page is from when she's fixing his heart, and it just says, "Help fix Tin Man." Like it was when
it said.
When I don't remember writing this note. I don't remember writing "Help fix Tin Man," but also
you were sucked into the show.
I guess he was born with a glass heart. Symbolism much? Jeez.
Yeah, the symbolism of all the heart stuff was really heavy-handed.
It was, yeah, and some of it felt unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree. But I liked his little song.
Okay, well. That's fine. It creeped me out, but that's me. Maybe I'm just more easily creeped out. You are full of light and life and innocence, and I am full of terrible horror movies.
Monster.
A monster. No, I'm not a monster. Thanks, China.
Okay. What happens next? Oh, then the little girl changes it and she's like, no, you should be happy instead. This is how the story should end. And then they dance to Blue Moon, which is the only dancing that we see in the entire episode.
It's also an incredibly sad song about a guy like being by himself and his only friend is the moon.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they put much thought into the song selection of this show. But that about wraps it up. I mean, they just come back and then it's the bookend of the actual storyline. And nope, we can't find Peter. Sorry.
And then they go back to the house, and then the watcher guy, the observer, has the dumbest phone ever. And how many digits is that phone number? He's like, beep boop beep boop 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 beep 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 boop boop beep boop boop.
I don't think it's a phone number.
Oh, he's calling the other side.
Well, or something like that.
Okay. Well, whatever. I'll learn that when I watch Fringe, maybe.
But that guy? Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's part of the next part, which is going to be track that reference.
Track that reference.
Which I think I have a better name for.
Oh, well then lay it on me, Daddy-o.
Music illusions.
Ooh.
Guys, it's a blend. It's a blend between musical and illusion.
That's very nice.
Music illusions. Although I like track that reference as a jingle. Maybe it can be music illusions. Track that reference. So one of the things I wanted to say was Joshua Jackson didn't sing at all in this.
Yeah, he refused to, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that a thing?
He refused, but apparently he often sings on set.
Oh, what a jerk.
I mean, it's his prerogative not to want to sing on national television.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. And
not a good sport, necessarily.
At the behest of the studio executives, like, they're saying, hey, everybody, we're doing musical week.
Yeah.
Everybody sing.
And everybody write this into your next episode. Like, I don't know how much time they were given, but it sounds like they had already planned out this episode, and then the network was like, add music to it.
Yeah, that would be not so great. Especially for a show like Fringe that is not episodic for the most part. Like, it's has continuity.
Oh, uh-huh.
Like, it has a story arc. A show, I don't know, like Law and Order or something. I don't know. I've never seen Law and Order.
Well, Bones was one of them.
That's true. Bones, too. Bones is very episodic, though. Like, unless you're dealing with one of the major.
Yeah. So it works.
It works. It works fine because they could kind of pick and choose the episode. Like, they could pull a later episode if it worked better. But I guess this was fairly close to the end run, wasn't it?
Bones?
No. Sorry. Close to the end of the season.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, maybe they had
a whole season's worth of planning time? Maybe. That would have been courteous. Okay, so that means we should move on to musical illusions.
Yes, Musical Illusions is Kayla's new name for Track That Reference, which I agree is a better name.
Track
Music
that
Illusions.
reference.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes. Oh, man. Do I need to prepare something? I feel like I should get paper and pen, but I guess I don't need that.
No. Just a score sheet. We should keep track of how many I get each episode, how many you get each episode.
Okay.
We have to go back now and count how many I got in the psych episode.
Okay, I'll do it.
We're not going to ask you the same amount of questions. We'll have to work that out, but
Doesn't matter.
All right. First question. So, to what else does Brown Betty refer besides Walter's drug concoction? There are several things.
Okay, a baked casserole / cobbler type dessert.
Uh-huh. An apple dessert with molasses sugar.
Oh, it's molasses sugar. And there's more than that?
Yeah, there's 2 more.
Oh, okay.
3 more.
Brown Betty is the name of a famous cow who gave her life in the service of her country.
Which country?
Malawi.
No. I'll give you a hint on one of them.
Okay.
One of them has to do with music.
Oh, I know this one actually. It's a song by what's her name? It's a fairly old song, like
It's an old song, but it's a dude.
Oh, really? Then I must have seen a cover.
Yeah.
Because I saw like an older lady singing it. But that's all I know. It's a song.
Duke Ellington. It's a Duke Ellington song from the 30s, apparently. I didn't look it up, so I don't know what it sounds like.
Okay.
The other one does have to do with a country. Not our country. Not the country that either of us are in right now. And it has to
not
do
Malawi.
with a very... Not Malawi. It has to do with a very particular culture of that country. One that everyone knows them for.
Oh.
It's an English-speaking country.
Okay. Is it a type of sausage from England?
No, but it is from England. It's a type of teapot, apparently.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that there were specific types of teapots other than...
Yeah, this one is really well known, apparently.
Teapot.
But maybe by people in England, I guess. What's the last one?
Oh, I thought that was it. That was 2 more, wasn't it?
There's one more. Can you think of...
There's 4 total.
Think of it? Can you think?
It's... No. No, I can't. I can't. What happened? I don't know what that is.
The timing was off. That's from The Color Purple.
Right, yes, of course, which I have never seen.
It's pretty good. The soundtrack is better than the show as a whole.
Like Fame.
I'm gonna live forever. Okay.
I'm not gonna try singing right now.
Okay. Next question. The place that Nina works for, the big corporation, the tech corporation. Do you remember the name of it? This is not a quiz question, but do you remember the name of it?
Massive Dynamic.
Massive Dynamic. Is referenced in another movie. Do you know what movie?
Yes. Because I remember thinking about it while I was watching Fringe. It's a movie, right? Not another TV show?
A movie.
Okay. It is...
2009.
2009. Is it animated?
No. Well, some would argue maybe.
Oh, okay.
It is part of a franchise.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's only mentioned in this one movie in the franchise.
Is it from Batman?
No. It's from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
That's what I was gonna say.
Really?
But then I was like, I was gonna say Transformers. And then I thought, but then I'll have to admit to having seen the Transformers movies.
I know. I was wondering if you even wanted to say the words Transformers.
But I actually have never seen that one. The Revenge of the Fallen or whatever that one is called. I've never seen that.
Well, that's amazing that you were going to guess that.
I was just going to say, because it was 2009, I was just going to say, maybe Transformers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was, like, originally, I think I thought of Global Dynamics from Better Off Ted.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, Better Off Ted's so good. It's on Netflix, and it's delightful. And
it's on my queue.
It's only 2 seasons, and it's lovely. You just throw it on in the background and listen to it.
That's another great. Portia did whatever Taurasi. She is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, however you pronounce her name. Okay, so I have one, so far?
You got the apple dessert, and that is what you got.
Yep. Hooray for me. 1.
Okay. So then, Walter is telling us, he's talking at the beginning about, he's telling stories, he's going to tell stories, and he says, my mother loved Chandler and another writer called Dashiell Hammett. She loved detective stories. Oh, and musicals. She adored musicals. She would often dress me up to play to play parts in plays at school. I was roughed up quite a bit as a child. So, first of all, do you know who these two people are? He says Chandler and Dashiell Hammett.
I've heard the name Dashiell Hammett. I've never read anything by him, but I've read a couple of Raymond Chandler books.
So, my question is, who are the characters that these two authors made famous?
Raymond Chandler, did he write The Big Sleep?
Yes.
The guy from The Big Sleep. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'll take the titles or the characters.
Okay.
Do you think you know Dashiell Hammett?
No, I don't.
One of them is a duo, a guy and a girl duo.
That's Dashiell Hammett.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know it.
Are you familiar with The Thin Man?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but...
Okay, Nick and Nora.
Yes, of course. Okay, I have Yep.
And he also wrote the Maltese Falcon.
Dashiell Hammett wrote the Maltese Falcon.
Yes.
Oh, well then that's why I'm more familiar with his name, even though I haven't read any of his books, because I have seen the movie. It's such a great movie.
So the CMC books. But we now know the reason he brings that up is because she loved detective stories. So this is a detective story, and
they're both quintessential
also
noir.
Musicals. This is the weirdest line that he has. My mother loved detective stories and musicals. These are the two things we happen to be putting in this episode.
Yeah, what a coincidence!
Like that they didn't have that line about musicals in the original script.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
that's funny.
Okay. So now... Nina's talking to William Bell on screen. Who is the actor who plays William Bell?
William Shatner.
You're hilarious.
It's Leonard Nimoy.
Great.
R.I.P. So that's 3 for me.
Good job. I wasn't going to ask you that one because you mentioned earlier that you knew who it was, but I thought I should throw you a softball. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
So
yeah, I did give you a couple of easy ones.
I could ask you one more like regular trivia type question, but also I was going to ask you about some of the songs.
Oh, okay? Sure, go ahead.
So the first song, Walter sings it, is Head Over Heels. Do you know who sings that?
No.
Tears for Fears.
Yes.
The second song, Broyles sings it. Low Spark of High-Heeled Boys. Do you know who sings that?
No.
Traffic. I didn't know either of those either.
I just as a side note, that song he plays at the very beginning is Roundabout by Yes, and it's amazing.
Good job. Didn't ask you that.
No, but I wanted everyone to know because it's such a good song.
Okay, well I'll look it up. Okay, the third song, The Singing Corpses sing Candyman. What musical is that from?
That is from I'm trying to, like, originally it's from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
And then they reprise it in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I think.
I don't think it's in Charlie and the Chocolate.
Well, then it's not.
Okay, Astrid sings the song from a chorus line. Do you know what it is?
Yes, it is called, what is it? It's I Hope I Get It? Or I, okay, yes.
Good
awesome.
job. Okay, and then the last one I have is Olivia sings For Once in My Life.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the artist of that, original artist of that song?
Is it a crooner?
He's blind, though.
He's blind, like Ray Charles?
The other one.
Oh. The other one?
Live, I think.
Oh, he's still alive? I don't remember. I don't know.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. Of course it's Stevie Wonder. I'm really, really bad with musical artists. Really bad. Like, even worse than remembering, like, actual individual people's names. And I'm bad at that. Like, what's your name? Shmela? Who knows?
Well, it did not help you in our competition.
No. No, it did not.
Okay, my last is just probably a guess. So this probably doesn't count toward trivia, but unless you get it, maybe you can get a point.
Yeah, if I get it, I'm going to count it.
Okay. Guess which actor, or you can say the character, has a Tony for performance in a musical. Which actor in this episode?
I'm wondering if I should try to fake that I don't know. It's the Observer.
How did you know that?
I saw it. I read it.
Oh, man. Well, did you remember what he won it for?
He won it for Sweeney? No, he was nominated for Sweeney. He won it for... It's an A word.
Yes, it's another Sondheim.
I can't remember. What is it?
Assassins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and when I read that, I was so angry. I was like,
yeah.
You did not utilize your best resource, people.
So originally, they were going to have him actually sing Blue Moon at the end, but they just didn't think it worked with the story.
Yeah, like, the story needed more sense, or wouldn't... I mean, like it wouldn't have... I don't think it would have been hampered by something...
well,
that didn't
it's
make
okay.
a whole lot of
not
sense.
necessarily this story, but the arc of the whole show, like how involved the observers are. It would have been weird, I think, to introduce him being very involved this early.
Okay.
They're still ramping up to that. Like, I think up until this point, they're still calling them Watchers, right? So they still don't really know what they are.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
It does, but it's very sad.
It is very sad. He won a Tony. Like, come on.
They clearly didn't like go around asking people what their background was, because Jessica Nicole was like, hello, I sing. I'm
really good at it. And like for like they could have given him a song that would have fit too. Like they could have given him a little creepy something. He was Sweeney. Like, yeah. Do something creepy.
Yeah. Maybe when he was like hammering her coffin shut or something.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe they thought it humanized him too much.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Gave him more approachable aspects.
Yeah. Great job!
Hooray! 6 out of...
Track that reference. That's the outro.
Oh, okay. Even though we changed the name?
I don't know. Well, we were toying around with the idea of calling it Music Illusions. Track that reference.
Oh, right, yes.
Subtitle.
That little jingle just reminds me of Priceline Negotiator.
And we're back to William Shatner.
Yep. Thanks, China.
Thanks, China. A lot of these sound the same.
It's true.
They all sound like commercial jingles.
And local commercial jingles.
Yeah, the worst kind. Or the best kind.
Yeah, or the best kind if you're Rhett and Link.
Okay, so did that. There's not really much room for like musical themes cover in this. There was because it's all music that they didn't write any of it. So Okay, done with that. The dance report. There wasn't very much dancing either.
There wasn't very much dancing. I
loved her fight choreography.
Her fight choreography was very good. And that's what I was about to say. They didn't dance, but they made reference to fighting as a form of dance.
I thought that was clever.
It was cute.
They danced together to Blue Moon at the end, but that was, not even actual ballroom dancing.
Yeah, that whole ending scene felt very creepy to me. Like, it felt
the happy ending?
Yes, the happy ending felt a little creepy to me. Like,
maybe you're just creeped out by happiness.
That is a definite possibility. That is a very definite possibility.
No, it's not.
No, and maybe it's because it just reminded me of the dancing scene in Twin Peaks.
Don't tell me. La 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 la.
Well, it's not a spoiler. They dance weird and it's creepy. That's all.
I didn't think it was creepy. I mean, I thought it was not as good as the sad ending.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like
the sad ending.
Olivia and Peter, almost said Charlie. Olivia and Peter are dancing. Yeah, it's the temptation is real. They're dancing, and like Walter's off in the corner in his wheelchair, like with his arms swaying around, like almost like he's a puppet master, and it's creepy.
That is
it's
weird.
Creepy.
Right, that's kind of creepy. Walter being poignant is sometimes kind of not poignant, but Walter being happy is kind of creepy sometimes.
It's true. It's because he has a very distinctively creepy face. It's not bad. I like it. I think he's amazing, but it's a little creepy.
He could play a good villain. I'd want to see him play a villain.
Later
on in the show, he gets sort of an opportunity to play a villain. Towers?
Two Towers. He's
that was
the king
him.
Of Rome. Yeah.
Wait, they cast a non-British actor in that movie?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They cast a lot of non-British actors.
I guess you're right. They really did.
Wormtongue.
That was a dumb observation. Wow, you're right. He's great, and I hated him.
He's awesome. I love him so much. He's such a good character actor. He's in so many things.
Cool. Okay. So now, should we do Who Could Make It first, or should we do ratings first?
Let's do Who Could Make It.
Okay. Who could make it?
Okay. I was gonna change it up and do like a freestyle rap, but I'm not going to, because I'll probably just start coughing. Who could make it?
Who could make it? I say several people. On Broadway, I think Astrid could do well. Royals, not Broadway. Right?
No. He could be I think he could. He definitely could put out some kind of an album.
Or could we think of a show that has that kind of style? Because he just nailed the style he was singing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
It's very...
Any loud
Play it again,
singing.
Sam. Like, he could just be Casablanca remake, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like Astrid, we didn't get very much.
Absolutely. No, we didn't. We should have gotten more. But what we did get was great, and I think she could do a great job.
I mean, yeah, she seems like she has a strong voice and could play an ingenue pretty versatilely, so...
Mm-hmm. Haven't seen her dance, but she's probably graceful enough that she could learn.
Well, if she has a music theater background, not just like a singing background,
then she probably has a fair amount of...
I say those are the people who could make it, and that's it.
And I say, I agree.
Who knows? Maybe Joshua Jackson could make it, but he was just being ashamed.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's just... Maybe his singing is a special thing that he reserves only for the cast and crew and does not want to be shared.
Maybe. Okay, well, ratings. Rate it?
Sure. Do we want to break it down, or we want to do the overall?
No, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to do an overall rating.
All right. Why don't you hit me with your best shot?
I say, Okay, it's hard because as a musical episode, I would rate it harsher. But as just an episode of TV, I rate it higher, you know?
Mm.
So I guess I should go somewhere in the middle. Okay, I'm leaning toward making it like 6.5, but that's what I made Psych, and they're just not comparable, so I'm...
It's kind of an apples and oranges situation. Like, we're reviewing TV musicals, but there's quite a few categories of TV musicals.
This is so different. Okay, I got it. Even though I really liked it, I'm going to stick with like more of a musical rubric.
Okay.
If I do that, then it gets a 6 out of 10 polka dot cows. Polka dots on a cow.
Polka dots on a cow. Six out of the 10 polka dots on a cow.
Yes.
I would give it a 4.
Ooh!
Out of
ouch.
10. Yes, a 4 out of 10 laser knife wounds.
Unnecessarily cut out hearts.
Yes, unnecessarily missing hearts. I would say 6 out of 10 missing hearts. Where
okay,
they're missing, so they're not there. I just was so bored through, like, the first time I watched it. I was just like, ugh. I was constantly checking the time. That thing you do when you watch a terrible movie on Netflix, you constantly, like, you tap the mouse.
You don't like, just stop the movie and do something else.
Right. Well,
that's what I do. Like,
well, I do that on different occasions. But if I'm like listening to a show for a podcast, or like listening to or watching a movie for like before listening to an episode of Film Sack or something like that,
where you feel the need to be informed about it.
Yeah,
but
or at least I just have a cursory knowledge of it.
You should just read the Wikipedia synopsis. You shouldn't put yourself through that.
I should. Oh, but some of these movies are gems, even though they're terrible. Like, I watched one. We don't have to talk about that. Anyway, it's about ants that kill people, and it was amazing.
A Bug's Life?
Did they kill anybody in that movie? Because that's a much darker take than I remember.
They're killing us all. That's what the movie was about. They're
slowly taking over the earth. So in
ants
that sense,
never traveled that far, but then he did.
Very much like the movie that I watched. Yeah, so 4. I was just so bored, and then there was hardly any music, and the music that was good was so short, and I just felt all around disappointed. And I felt disappointed because I had such high hopes about enjoying Fringe, I think. And like, I watched him, and I'm like, oh, maybe I won't like this show. I'm really, really bored.
I think I was giving it some thought, and I think the reason that I overall am not jazzed about the show is that I just don't like Olivia. And it's not the actress, because she plays... Okay, spoiler. She plays Anna Torv. Mm-hmm. She plays a different version of herself later, and I love that version of her. And I liked this version of her. I know you hated it, but I really liked her Gumshoe... I don't know. I'm a... girl doing a man's job type of character. I liked it. But most of the time, Olivia is... she's not whiny, but she's... I don't even know how to describe it. She's boring. And I'm not compelled by anything, any of her motivations. I just don't care about. So, I think that's that and what we were discussing before about the show going a direction that was not the most obviously interesting direction are the reasons why I don't really like the show overall. But, I mean, there's great moments in it.
That's true, and I could see that. I mean, like, I could see it in Walter's acting, and I could see it in the little allusions that they give to future episodes.
The Easter eggs are cool. Like, that's just a cool component of the show.
Yeah, it's interesting. But, like, the story itself, I was just supremely bored, and I was ready for it to be over and about. Like, I had pretty high hopes. Like the show started strong, and then it was like, oh no, this little girl shows up. Let me tell you a story. Story's dumb.
Maybe. Okay, so maybe if you looked at it less like a noir and more like a storybook story, like a fairy tale. So then it's got these fantastical elements and these things that don't really make sense, and like no one's motivation makes sense or anything.
So if I watch it more in the way they had intended,
I don't want you to watch it again because you've already watched it twice and you hated it both times. But
I'm not gonna watch it again.
If you could frame it that way, because that's how I saw it. To me, the noir element was just like an added little bonus that wasn't the point of the story, or wasn't necessarily the frame of the story. More the frame was Walter telling a story to a child, but that explained his true feelings about himself and his relationship with Peter. And I think maybe if you had been able to watch the entire first or second season leading up to it, you might connect with it a little bit more. Connect with what he's saying, what he's exploring about himself a little more.
I'm sure that would be the case. Like I felt no connection to the characters whatsoever.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think this is how it might be. Throughout, when one of us has seen something and the other hasn't, like one of us has a lot of experience with something, and so we're just gonna like it more. It's just how it's gonna be.
Which is fine. I like hearing your fresh perspective on
Agreed
on Psych and stuff, and I think it's a good format. I think it's healthy. We need to hash these things out, Kayla.
For the health.
For the health and for the people. For good and for awesome.
Okay. Plugs. Pluggity plug. Pluggity plug. We are found in places on the internet.
Yes, we are. I was about to say, we're actually not yet. But
by the time this comes out, I think we will be.
I hope so. We're still trying to work out our distribution.
But I'm saying plugs of like, we're on Twitter.
We are on Twitter. We are on Twitter at Podcast Musical. We are on Facebook and just search Podcast the Musical. If you need to email either of us, it's just Josh or Kayla at podcastthemusical.com and we will get it. If you have any suggestions, for episodes that we might like to watch, we have a huge list. We have a huge long list.
But it makes it hard because it's a lot of things we haven't seen. And so if if you have one in your head that you're like, you should do this one, you might not have heard of it. There's some that we've heard of.
Yeah.
I think Twilight did one.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like they would.
Yeah.
It's pretty serious. It's a very serious show.
But I feel like Edward singing and dancing, he kind of goes into that role easily, I think.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. I haven't confirmed it either, but
okay. All right. Well, we'll just have to look into it. Yeah, but we have a big long list, and maybe we'll throw it up somewhere, and people can say, "Oh, don't watch that one. That's terrible, and here's why."
Oh, but if it's really terrible, we want to watch it.
I was just about to say, or say, "Oh, that one's terrible. You need to watch it."
Say that instead, guys. Say that instead.
Say that instead. But there's a difference between like Troll 2 terrible and Zardoz terrible. Like, I want to watch Troll 2 all the time. I'm fine with only watching Zardoz once. I'm fine with watching the first 30 minutes of Zardoz as much as I want, but I don't want to watch the last half ever again.
And I'm fine with not knowing what the hell Zardoz is.
Oh, Zardoz is amazing. You need to watch it once. It's terrible, but it's amazing.
You just said you didn't want to watch it.
I know, but I fully believe that everyone needs to watch it at least once.
You are trying to subject me to torture. I will not stand for it.
You should at least watch the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes is actually really good. I think they like most mediocre television and movies suffer from third act problems. This movie suffers from a second and third act problem, in that they don't really have a second or third act. It just kind of goes, first act, set up, things are exciting, and then it's dumb. But but the first part is awesome. It's Sean Connery in a red leather diaper, and he shoots a giant rock head, and the rock head is actually like these higher beings, and he follows them back, and they have technology, and it's awesome.
Okay,
you need to watch Stardust.
I'll probably not watch that.
That's fine.
Those are the places you can find us. Next time, we don't know what we're gonna watch.
We don't know what we're gonna watch. Maybe we'll talk about it after this.
Yeah, whoever's editing will just make a quick recording of what we're gonna watch.
Oh yeah, that would work too. I was just gonna say we throw it up on Twitter whenever this thing comes out, but that would work too. We can make a little addendum.
And here it is. Just popping in to say that the next thing we're going to look at is a double feature of Futurama. The first one being Hell is Other Robots, and the second one being The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings. That's Season 1, Episode 19, and Season 5, Episode 16. So if you want to take a look at those before listening to our next episode, I don't know, it'd probably be a good idea. You might enjoy it some more. Hopefully, you enjoy the episodes more than Kayla did. So, enjoy the last little bit of the episode.
Okay, thanks, guys. And Josh, and Fringe, and Musicality.
And scene. Thanks, China.
Bye.
Ba-na-na-na. Bye.